G'day guys and gal. One of the most mysterious and intriguing parts of 40k lore are the Old Ones, an extinct race of cosmic toad gods that seeded the galaxy with life, used the warp as a goonmobile and pissed off both Chaos and the Necrons. They were as godly as they could be, existing in both the warp and real space simultaneously. Almost everything in the current setting can trace itself back to the Old Ones in some way, even 60 million years after their last sighting, with some theories even believing that the Emperor was the Old Ones' final failsafe, their last hope, an engineered weapon. But what if they returned? What if they were awoken or came back from a distant galaxy? Would they dominate the galaxy in its current form, or would there be so much turmoil and destruction that they would simply be relegated to a powerful but overall minor faction in the setting of Warhammer 40k? Before we get started, boy do I have something sexy for you. If you've watched this channel for a while, you've probably noticed a few Geology sponsored segments, with Geology being a men's skincare brand I'm a huge fan of, because it's actually good and it actually works. This was me when I was 21, and this is me now. I'm no longer oily or blotchy, and that is because I've been using Geology for this whole time. So I'm very happy to announce that Geology is running a 100% off one-time offer, which includes a free gift and a 50% off an additional product of your choice. It's a no-brainer. But let me explain just how good Geology actually is. Geology only uses science-backed ingredients, the kind of stuff that is scientifically proven to help your skin. Their night cream has retinol, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. If you don't know what those are, just ask your girlfriend, or on the likely chance you don't have one of those, then your mother. Their morning cream also has some SPF in it because nothing ruins your skin faster than the sun. Geology then takes this a step further, removing the guesswork by getting you to fill out a quick survey and then sending a custom skincare routine with easy to follow instructions to your door, and with today's offer, that routine is free. Going even further, Geology also has an amazing range of shampoos, body washes, and deodorants, so it is really a one-stop shop from turning from a greasy neckbeard to a nice smelling, clear and clean Warhammer enthusiast. So to claim your free skincare package, a free gift, and 50% off another product of your choice, scan the QR code on screen, use the link below, or use code Majorkill100. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over what happened to the Old Ones, if there still could be any in the current setting, and what would most likely happen if they managed to return. Let's get into it. The Old Ones are spoken of in terms of legend and mythology, so the details are a bit vague. Not to mention there has been sneaky retcons here and there to make things more confusing, but don't worry, I gotcha. The Old Ones are old even before the War in Heaven kicked off. It's unclear why they were so powerful, but they had the ability to manipulate both reality and the warp. They used this power to bioengineer numerous races into existence, likely by finding a solid species and then modifying it to evolve it into something greater, usually a psychic version of what it once was. The Old Ones were not inherently warlike, but they knew how to fuck shit up. Now, newer lore did a retcon which I really fucking hate, and I doubt you even know about it. Basically, old lore, which is what most people think is canon, is that the Old Ones and Necrontyr encountered each other, the Old Ones refused to give the Necrontyr cosmic sunscreen, thus the Necrontyr went to war with the Old Ones, eventually losing, accepting the help from the Catan, becoming the Necrons, then kicking off the War in Heaven, the consequence of which was all factions were weakened, and the realms of chaos were born from all the war and strife. That probably sounds familiar, but it's not actually the exact lore anymore. Newer lore states that chaos has always existed and was always an enemy of the Old Ones. The Old Ones and Necrontyr actually teamed up against Chaos and developed a semi-permanent solution, locking up massive Chaos armies on planets instead of banishing them. As demons are shards of their Chaos gods, if you lock shards away, it permanently weakens the Chaos god for as long as those shards are out of their reach. I hate this as it just makes Chaos the big bad that's been around since day one. I felt like it was a lot more interesting that Chaos was born from the strife and hubris of mortal sentient races, as it feeds into the notion that peace can actually be achieved and Chaos can actually be beaten, but everyone is too warlike and xenophobic to actually be able to do that. By Chaos existing in force during a time where the galaxy was at peace and the Old Ones ruled just kind of cheapens the narrative in my opinion. Anyway, I'm getting way too sidetracked. The Necrontyr probably felt like the Old Ones owed them immortality for helping them against Chaos, but the Old Ones refused. Maybe they did not want to grant this power to a race they did not personally engineer, thus the Necrontyr felt cheated, went to war, got their crispy asses clapped, and then joined up with the Catan, and the rest is history. Interestingly enough, the non-sentient star parasite form that the Catan took before the Necrontyr shoved them into giant necrodermis mechs may not actually have been their original form. The Deceiver, so take this with a grain of salt, said that the Catan and the Old Ones fought long ago, with the Old Ones winning. This implies that the Catan had their power and personalities beforehand, got clapped, and then had to hide from the Old Ones, devolving into the star parasites to help hide, or perhaps that is what the Old Ones turned them into, as it's been established that killing Catan is a terrible idea as they are a part of the laws of reality. After all, it would be strange for unbothered star-eating space jellyfish gods to suddenly become malicious, sentient, soul-hungry gods with grudges against the Old Ones just because now they possess possessed a bunch of living metal statues. The war that ensued rocked the galaxy and made the Horus Heresy look like a college party. The result was the warp was stirred up from a mostly calm sea of souls into a place of hate and dicks and shit. The Necrons went to sleep, the Orcs were created out of desperation by the Old Ones and have plagued the galaxy ever since, the Eldar rose to power, using the leftover tech from the Old Ones to dominate the galaxy, the Catan got turned into Pokemon by the Necrons, and the Old Ones vanished. Most were killed, but the lore seems to imply that some just noped the fuck out of there. Like the lore doesn't say, and all were killed at the end. It definitely more so leaves the door open for a potential future return. After all, the Harad follow a mixed religion of Eldar and Old Ones as their gods, with their main god Qua still being believed to be alive, just in exile working, with it being heavily hinted that Qua is an Old One. But now let's put on our tinfoil hats and let's say that the Old Ones returned. Or let's make it more simple, since if all the Old Ones returned it'd just be a stomp, let's just say only Qua returned, the sole surviving Old One. What would happen? Well, the Old Ones were known for their patience and long-term planning. Qua would not just gung-ho into the galaxy. If he revealed himself straight away, the Imperium would designate him as a powerful Xeno threat that needed to be slain or contained, the Necrons would lose their shit and attack him, some Catan may even break out of their Pokeballs in their eagerness to attack him as well, the Eldar would also rush to him, hoping to use him to save their species, so overall Qua would want to keep on the DL while he got his bearing. Now the Old Ones were powerful as hell, but they were powerful as a collective race in a galaxy that was a lot more chill. They lost the war in heaven and needed Orcs, Eldar and other creations to do their fighting for them. In a similar way to how the Emperor was powerful as hell but needed Primarchs, legions of Space Marines and countless sextillions of guardsmen, alongside the Mechanicus to conquer the galaxy. The Old Ones also needed help. Based on the legends, an Old One would be like an Alpha++ Psycho or some shit, either on par with or above the Emperor in raw psychic might, with none of the drawbacks. He would be able to reshape reality in a localized area, communicate across the stars, and would be an absolute beast. But the galaxy is full of nasty shit now. Qua would first reveal himself to his Harad followers, as they revere him the most and are isolated from the other factions. He would use them as his initial force and manpower, before seeking to re-establish the Cabal, making contact with various figureheads from various races engineered by the Old Ones. Eldar, such as Eldrad, would be contacted, as would any still living Slann. Qua would also likely be able to control the Jakero, the race of those orangutan-looking aliens who create obscenely impressive technology, but only on random whims. Qua would know how to channel that so that they could create the things he needs. Qua would use the webway to sneakily travel around the galaxy, easily glamouring himself and hiding his appearance using his warp power. The odds of detection are low with so much shit going on. The Emperor easily hid his power and appearance when he wanted to. Qua would have no issue doing the same. Now the Old Ones seem to only like to work with its own creations, as evident by it shunning the Necron tier and never getting help or aligning with other races, like the Crave, so Qua would likely avoid the Tau, finding the similarities to the old Necron tier to be disturbing. For many years, Qua would work in the shadows, using its agents to stir up support within the various races. I imagine the Old Ones had some sort of method for controlling the Greenskins. After all, they managed to get the Krorks to fight as disciplined legionnaires alongside the Eldar and other races, so perhaps Qua would know how to manipulate the Wa to gain the Orc support. Finally, Qua would also need to speak to the Imperium. After all, humanity do seem to be crafted by the Old Ones, at least in some aspects, so he should be open to it. Qua would speak with Guilliman, the Lion, and other worthy humans, aligning their causes. I believe the two Primarchs would be open to this, as evident by Guilliman working with the Eldar and the Lion working with the Watchers in the Dark. Plus, they would both see the opportunity of a returned Old One. I also believe Qua would be one of the few beings who could directly speak with the Emperor, maybe even helping the Emperor focus his shattered psyche, or helping to repair the Golden Throne to improve its function and put less strain on the Emperor. See, Qua's objective would be more or less the same as all Old Ones: contain chaos, protect its creations. It didn't go to war with the Necrons because it hated them, it did so because the Necrons attacked them and their creations. Qua would be the one entity who could unite their various factions and focus them against their common enemies, mostly Chaos and the Tyranids. It's unclear what the Necrons would do. Now that they have their independence back, many of them likely wouldn't hold much of a grudge against the Old Ones, and if they didn't attack Qua probably wouldn't attack them. Like I said, the Old Ones were pretty chill guys from everything I've gathered. Here's some things that would likely happen. There would be a resurgence in Eldar power, as Qua would help restore their lost technologies and even help them find a solution to the Slaanesh problem. The Orcs may also evolve back into Krorks, or at least halfway to a Krork, with Qua there to manipulate the Wa. Qua would also be the only thing that would stand any chance of healing the Emperor and restoring him, but in saying that, we don't know exactly just how powerful a single Old One was, but I am confident that if applied correctly, Qua could tip the balance of favour to the forces of order, not by leading armies and ripping apart planets with psychic might, but through working behind the scenes. Now that is assuming things go smoothly, which they never do. Many assassination attempts would be undertaken against Qua. Chaos would use as many bullshit hacks as it physically could to try and kill the Old One. Some Necrons would as well. The Tyranids would also be desperate to eat Qua, as the biomass and DNA within him would be so advanced that it would make the Nids unstoppable. They would probably be able to create a physical body for the hive mind to inhabit that could genuinely contain it, which yeah, that would be bad news, a literal Tyranid god in real space. So the result of an old one returning would either be a cool side plot that had a lot of potential ramifications that are never realized due to a premature demise, similar to the Clone Grim subplot, or it could completely shake up the setting and change everything. Either way, it would be cool as fuck to see. Hashtag bring back Qua. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we have high-res Warhammer artworks for wallpaper, nude cosplay photos, and a boatload of Battlemace 40 million hentai. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more old content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.